Honda's X-ADV. We've had this for the last month and we've absolutely had a hoot on it. Is it any good? Stay tuned after the intro and find out more. Hey guys, it's James from Midlands Motorbikers. Welcome back to the channel, and we are back with this, what looks like a concept bike, but it's actually in production. Honda are making it, and it is an incredible bike to ride. It blew me away the first time I saw it. I did not get it. I didn't understand. I thought it was a joke, but it's not. This is the Honda this is the Honda X-ADV 750. It is, as I said in the intro, a parallel twin engine with an automatic gearbox in a maxi scooter chassis, but there's some subtle changes. You can see it's got the spoked wheels. You can see it's got the adventure pegs fitted. You can see it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is a motorbike in a scooter outfit. It doesn't make sense to look at, but when you ride it, it is an incredible bike to ride. So, Honda say this stands out as a unique blend of adventure touring and maxi scooter convenience. Designed for riders seeking versatility, it combines off-road capability with urban practicality. It does. It actually does. It blew me away. It's incredible. Well, hello folks, and welcome on board the Honda X-ADV, the 750 parallel twin adventure scooter cross maxi scooter. What were they thinking making something like this? This must have been just a concept. This must have been a drunken conversation in a workshop. Yeah, lads, what if we mix this with this? And they drew some diagrams and whatever, but then they actually made it. And you know what? It works. This is the thing I don't get. This is what I really don't understand. When I first saw this, I genuinely thought it was just a concept. You know, one of these fancy concepts that they see to try and grab your attention and get people talking. But Honda actually went ahead and made it. And since they've made it, it has been a phenomenal selling bike in a lot of countries except one, the UK. Now, I don't know if it's people who just don't like scooters, they don't get it. It is a bit rich. It is more premium money for what is a scooter. But when you stop looking at it as a scooter or even a maxi scooter and you look at it for what it actually is, then you start to understand and realise why it's so much money. Now, one thing I will say is when we had the bike for some time, it was really, really good and we were enjoying it really well. But we tried to do some mild off-roading, but because of the setup of the bike as standard, it just wasn't comfortable to do off-road. Although the bike seemed to be very, very capable, it didn't seem to actually allow us to get the full potential out of the bike. So we did some research and we did some digging, and we actually found out that Honda do a Honda part which bolts straight onto the rear, and you've probably seen it in some of the other clips, the adventure pegs. Now they are a simple bolt on. It's two bolts that go straight onto the rear of the bike, two bolts out, they put it into place. Within 20 minutes you'll have them in, and instantly that changes the bike to a adventure cross. It makes it feel like an adventure bike. The positioning of the pegs is in a fantastic position as far as the triangle from your hands to your head to your feet. It gives you a nice steady base. Some would say it's a little bit wider than what you're expecting, and I would actually tend to agree, but it is quite a wide bike, especially low down where the gearbox and the engine are down there as well. With the wider stance on the foot pegs, it does feel a little bit more cumbersome. It does feel like a little bit more of a fat bike down below, and it certainly may reduce the confidence a little bit as far as any ruts or any tighter bits off-roading are concerned. But once you're actually rolling, you actually forget about how big and heavy the bike actually is. And the suspension takes it in its stride. So any sort of deep ruts, as you probably see on the clip here, any sort of deep ruts that it has, it does absorb them really nicely, and it still gives you a very stable base, very confident in fact. So it's very confidence inspiring. It eggs you on, it makes you want to go a little bit more, and then you end up pushing the bike a little bit further. The great thing about this particular bike, with all the technology package that's in it, the DCT, the traction control, the gravel and off-road modes, it allows you to push the bike as far as you feel comfortable with, but retaining you in that safety net of the electronics in the Honda. And Honda being Honda, the electronics are absolutely bulletproof, a really, really steady base and really good place to have the bike. So the first few times that we rode the bike, obviously it was road based and we wanted to really put it through its paces and see what it's like as a motorbike, as a standard maxi scooter style motorbike. And instantly it's recognizable from the Honda NC750 motorbike. That's what it is underneath. That's exactly what it is, the same engine, same drive chain, some subtle changes to the suspension and to the layout of everything, but essentially it is that. And that is a tried and tested motorbike, and it is very, very successful and a lot of fun. Obviously, the big differences were the seating position and the foot position. Yes, you can ride the bike in main scooter mode. You can actually have your legs a bit further forward if you want to. The main difference we had after we had the bike for some time was the adventure pegs. Now, that does change the dynamics of the bike quite a bit. I actually quite enjoyed riding the bike in that sort of position. That is more familiar to a traditional motorbike setup. So that was very, very comfortable for me. But of course, you've got the option of stretching your legs out if you want to, just like bikes nowadays with having highway pegs, for example. So that was a good addition. So the first question you're probably going to ask is about the adventure pegs. Are they suitable for adventuring on? And yes, absolutely. As an adventure bike rider, we are always called meerkats. You want to be standing up on the pegs, and that is quite a nice place to be. I'd probably say it is a little bit wider than what I'm used to, and certainly a little bit wider, which makes it feel like a bigger bike that you're sitting on, but it's not uncomfortable, it's not unnatural. I think that is a very, very well positioned sort of setup there. So as far as tyre choice, these are actually fitted with the Bridgestone Battle Axe AX41Ts. They are predominantly a road-based tyre, but they do grip extremely well on the dust, sand, clay, rock, sort of gravelly roads that we've been testing and trying it on. So they are a really good addition to the bike. They don't take anything away from the fact that when you're on the road, it is still a sporty feel. You can really throw it around the corners and you can get pretty close to the edge of the tyres as well, quite comfortably and quite easily. The tyre sizes baffled me, it really did. You've got a 17-inch front tyre and a 15-inch rear. It doesn't seem like it's going to make sense, but when you actually put it together in the chassis that it is on the X-ADV, it does make a lot of sense and works really well for the dynamics of the bike. I think Honda have done really well there. Oh, it does handle rather nicely. Right, so let's talk about some of the key specifications of the bike. Engine, so it's a 745cc parallel twin engine from the NC750 that Honda already produced. In fact, a lot of the characteristics and a lot of the spec from this bike is pretty much exactly the same as the NC750. So it's a tried and tested bike, which already works extremely well. Power output, you're just shy of 60 horsepower, so it's not really going to pull the skin off a rice pudding, but it's got plenty of torque for what you need it for. Now, that may not sound too impressive as far as facts and figures, but when you realise that when you're actually riding it and you're on a scooter, you've got the mindset you're in a scooter, it is plenty quick enough for what it is. It's very, very impressive. I don't know if they've changed the way that DCT works or changed the gearing slightly, but it does work extremely well in this particular format, which is lovely. Torque, you got about 52 foot-pounds of torque, I think it is. So again, not miles, but still plenty to get you out of trouble. I mean, the good thing about this with the different rider modes you've got, I mean, I'm riding in standard mode at the moment, which is absolutely lovely. It changes gear at a very nice, gentle sort of place. It's obviously designed in a way to save you as much fuel as you can. But when you put it into sport mode, you do get the full foot-pounds of torque delivered straight to your wrist, and a twist of the throttle, and it drops it down a gear or two for you and puts you in that perfect rev range. It actually gives it quite a sporty feel, which is not something I expected from a maxi scooter or an adventure scooter. Going back to the transmission, of course, it's that 6-speed dual clutch transmission, the DCT that Honda have perfected. And again, it makes sense in something like this. In all honesty, it is seamlessly smooth. It is absolutely beautiful. You can override it with the paddles on the left-hand side. So, for example, I can just use my thumb to go down a couple of gears, or ultimately my first finger, where intuitively where your flash button would be, flash to pass on your headlights, that's where it would be to go up the gears as well. So it's quite easy once you get used to it. Do it a couple of times and you'll be absolutely fine.
So couple that with the engine, the DCT, fuel economy, you're going to get quoted figures of 111 miles per gallon. I think that is a little bit fairy tale, if I'm being completely honest with you. They say around the highway you're going to get around 75 miles per gallon. That is a bit more realistic. The only thing I'd probably say which makes it feel like it's not doing the best miles per gallon is it has got quite a small fuel tank. I can't remember the exact size. I'll pop that on the screen now for you so you can see. But it does feel like you are running out of fuel quite quickly. But again, it's not designed as those heavy motorway miles or heavy long distance tourer. So yeah, you kind of take the rough with the smooth with that. As far as handling is concerned, it's got a 6.5-inch ground clearance, which, as you'll see in some of the footage later on, is absolutely plenty for road use, but actually a bit of mild or entry-level off-road use as well. Now, we took this off-road at the incredible ABR festival, the Bridgestone Trail. We took it round. My test pilot, Pavel, he was the one that actually rode it round, and quote, he says it was amazing.
Good. That's amazing.
We are not professionals. We've done a little bit of green lanes, a little bit of off-roading here and there, and it instilled so much confidence in you, the way that it handled, which was incredibly surprising. Again, for a scooter, some of the looks that we got going around the trail were hilarious. They really were. We were going around and people were like, what is that? You know, a scooter, which was actually, and I'm not kidding you, embarrassing quite a few of the other bikes on the trails. So that was very, very funny. Now, one thing I absolutely love about this, which you wouldn't necessarily expect on a scooter, this has got cruise control. Ideal for the long distances or longer distances you're doing. A flick of a switch here and you can set your cruise control, and that is absolutely lovely. A really nice feature which you don't always get on some of the more premium bikes nowadays. So that was a very nice addition to see on the bike. Now, when I'm traveling a little bit quicker like I am now, it has got the adjustable windscreen in front of you. Luckily, it is able to be adjusted with just one hand, so that is absolutely lovely. It could do with being a bit wider, it could do with being a little bit taller.
That's what she said.
But that would be me nitpicking, being used to something like the GS where there is zero wind buffeting and zero wind interruption. I think that's the only thing it could probably do with up front there. Now, one thing I do really like as far as being in the cockpit, it has got quite an advanced TFT display. They've actually updated the interface with an improved switchgear system as well. So it gives a more user-friendly navigation both through the controls, through the dash and through the items that you see on the screen as well. It is beautifully clear. It has got a day and night mode as well. So in daytime like it is now, it's got like a white background with the black digits, and then it switches over to a black background with the white digits for when it is nighttime. Daytime! Softer on the eyes, but still just as clear. So nicely thought out there.
So as far as pricing is concerned, I hope you're sitting down, guys, because the price of this is around 11,499 on the road here in the UK. A little bit steep for a maxi scooter, but when you take into account the capabilities and how much fun you can have, and certainly the bigger performance engine and that fantastic Honda DCT dual clutch transmission gearbox, you're getting a lot of bike for your money. All the additional features already mentioned, the TFT screen, the cruise control, the rider and driver modes, the comfort, the adventure pegs. It is a very, very well set up bike. One thing I absolutely love about the look and feel and design of this is those LED projector style headlights. They really provide an improved visibility and quite a modern aesthetic, taken pretty much similar to the NT1100 design. So from the front, when it's coming towards you, it generally looks like an NT1100, which is a very good looking bike now. But of course, when you get to the side of it, you realize, oh no, it's a maxi scooter. You can have a laugh and a joke, and then you actually end up smiling going, that's actually a really, really good looking bike.
Oh, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun here. So I'm gonna change it now into your sport mode on the rider modes, and let's see what it's like. So we just stopped behind the car at the moment. It's already, as soon as you put it into sport mode, it changes, actually drop down a gear, so it stays in that optimum place for the torque. I'm going to use the override, drop it down another gear and go for the overtake. That is very, very impressive. I really like that. So I'm still in sport mode now. We're going to throw it around a few more of these corners. I shouldn't be surprised really, because underneath the bodywork, It is the NC750. It is a motorbike underneath, so it is a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. You may look at it and think, oh bless, it's a scooter, but it's incredibly capable. And I'll be honest with you, that engine note is absolutely beautiful. Honda have really perfected the twin sound, both from the Africa Twin, the NT1100, and this. It's got a really throaty, deep growl that comes from the exhaust, which sounds beautiful, if I'm being honest with you. It does feel like it eggs you on a little bit and makes you want to go that little bit more enthusiastic as you ride. So I'm quite impressed with that, to be honest with you. As far as the ergonomics are concerned, I think it's a lovely place to be. Everything is in the right place. As I said, the mirrors are in the perfect position. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall and I'm seeing directly over my shoulder and behind, and that's a perfect sort of positioning to see exactly what's around you. It's a nice place to be. I think the bars are actually in a really nice place as well. It does give it a more of an adventure sort of positioning as far as the bars are concerned. Not like a street bike, and certainly not what I'd expect from a scooter. But of course, with the adventure setup, it does feel a lot more flickable, and you can just chuck it round from left to right. I think that's absolutely brilliant. See, this is interesting. I've just switched it into gravel mode. I've just found this little kind of green lane style area, and it's just effortless the way that traction control and the gearbox and the throttle response make it an absolute dream to handle. The suspension is just picking this up absolutely flawlessly. It's not chucking me around. It's not giving me any sort of jitters, worries, or anything like that. Now, some say that maybe that is taking the riding experience away from you and feels like you're not necessarily in control, but you can get into control at any point if you wanted to. I could just switch it back to manual and, you know, really kind of throw it around these lanes if I wanted to. But for a bike that is not necessarily an off-road bike, it is handling it extremely well. It's definitely putting the word adventure into its title. The X-ADV becomes an ADV bike, so I'm actually very, very impressed with this. I mean, the undulations on this, it's sapping it up absolutely lovely. It's not too uncomfortable. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can feel that it's throwing me around, but again, not in a way that's making me lose control. And these are some quite bumpy undulations, and yet it's not bottoming out either. I'd have thought on a couple of these it would have really bottomed out, but this is very impressive. I mean, this is crazy. I would not dream of doing this on majority of scooters or even most road bikes. Something like this would be doable, but I was nowhere near as much confidence as I've got on this. I am suitably impressed with the way that this just laps up the gravel, the loose stones, and there's some big stones here as well. And yet it's not chucking me around. I'm loving this.
Now, if I was trying to be picky about the bike, and I'm going to have to make it more of an accurate review on the bike, it is a little bit heavier than you'd expect from a maxi scooter or a traditional scooter style. Again, there is reasons behind the weight. The DCT gearbox is a big chunk of weight added onto there as well. The low center of gravity, because the fuel tank is nice and low, the engine's nice and low, does make up for that and distributes the weight really nicely, but it is noticeably quite a heavy bike for maneuvering around, or if you are looking to do some of the off-road side of things. Now, of course, it is an adventure scooter, and although I've tried and tested it and had a lot of fun off-road, please remember this is not a dedicated off-road bike. It is an adventure scooter, a X-ADV, so it's a cross, a mix, if you like, between the road and off-road. It's got a lot of capability and a lot of performance you can really put down on the trails, but it's not a off-road bike. You can see the limitations quite quickly if it gets very gnarly, very rutty. And of course, with the tires it's got on the moment especially, it's not going to give you the best amount of grip. So you're going to feel the traction control and the performance control kicking in quite a lot there. Now, in conclusion, if I was going to wrap this up with one sort of paragraph, I've actually written this down because it's taken me some time to try and understand the bike and try and wrap it up in a paragraph. I've literally written the 2025 Honda X-ADV 750 is a remarkable fusion of adventure and practicality. Its blend of scooter convenience and motorcycle performance makes it a compelling choice for riders seeking versatility. Whether you're commuting through London or exploring the countryside, as you can see we are now, it is really equipped to handle it all. It is a fantastic package, a really well-made bike. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Don't take my word for it, guys. You've got to get down to your local Honda dealership and have a go on one. I really like it.